StrayAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. You know what that is? That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is productivity versus effectiveness versus efficiency. Oh, you thought these were all the same thing. You thought this was just semantics. You thought that you could just use these words interchangeably and it didn't matter because they all were basically referring to the same stuff. That is incorrect. That is not true. And I'm going to tell you why today. And I will explain it in detail so that you could go and you could act like you came up with this and you could explain it to somebody else. All right. So now, before we get into that, let me tell everybody, I send out a text message every single morning that is guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point. I send it for free straight to your phone every morning. I call this the daily motivation text. You want to receive this text. All right. So I'm not even going to put in the question of whether or not you want to receive it. I'm just going to tell you that you do. And here's all you got to do to get it. Text me at my number, 305-384-6894. And every morning when that daily motivation text goes out, like tomorrow, you're going to be getting this message straight to your phone free of charge. You can even respond to those messages. You might get a response back from me because I do respond to some of the texts that I get every single day. So text me at that number. It's down below in the description. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. I want you to understand, we got a bunch of frameworks, trainings, coaching, and courses inside of Work on Your Game University, like Bulletproof Mindset 2.0, which is the deepest and the best mindset training on the market. I mean, you see what I do here on the show every day, right? Do you believe that I can give you the best training on mindset that there is? Of course I can, and I already did it. It's in Bulletproof Mindset 2.0. I got another one called 30 Days of Discipline. I got another one called ASAP Confidence. I got another one called the Business Builder Framework. I got another one called Next Mission. I got another one called the Work on Your Game System. I got a whole bunch more. I'm not going to list here because it would take up too much damn time. I want you to understand that if you want to be coached by me, there's only one way to do it. You must be a member of Work on Your Game University. You want to get access to all of the courses and trainings that I've ever created, all of them, and any one that I create in the future. And let me let you know something. I will create more in the future. I mean, you see how often the show comes out, do you not? Or you think I just create free stuff? No, I create paid stuff too. All of it goes inside of Work on Your Game University. All you have to do to become a member of the university is go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. We got that too. Workonyourgameuniversity.com. You see your options for getting started. The link to that is down below in the description. Everything's down below in the description. Now, with all that said, let's get into today's topic, which is, again, productivity versus effectiveness versus efficiency. Again, you thought these were all the same thing. You thought wrong. They're not the same thing, but I'm going to teach you. And then again, like I said, you can take this and now you will know the difference. So when you use these words, make sure you're using them correctly. So people often conflate these ideas. Today we're going to explain what each one is and how to use each, because each of these is useful. All right, it's not that any one of them is better or worse than the others. You just need to know what they are so that when you're talking about them, you're talking about the right thing. So let's get to it. Point number one. Topic again, productivity versus effectiveness versus efficiency. Number one, let's talk about productivity. This is the one that you usually hear the most. This is the one that most of you use the most often, being more productive. And the definition of productivity is the state or quality of producing something. I don't really like that definition because I don't like when you use a form of the word in the definition of the word because it becomes a circular definition. So definition of produce is to cause a particular result or situation to happen or come into existence. Now that definition I like. To cause something to come into existence. That is the definition of production. Being productive is better than doing nothing. Okay, so any of you who is doing nothing, you should stop doing nothing and start being productive. Being productive is a good idea. Okay, everybody got that? It's a good idea to be productive. Many people do a whole lot of nothing. So being productive is a step forward. However, if you are already doing a lot and you are already working hard, and many of you believe you are doing a lot and working hard, if that is true, then productivity is not what you need. If you are already being productive and you're already working hard, productivity is not what you need. For you, productivity is how you got here. So those of you who are hard workers and you're putting that time in every single day, you're grinding every day, you're working really hard, but you're still not where you want to be. Okay, you got to that position, this position, by being productive. by producing, working. You got to this position of grinding, working hard, but you're still not where you want to be. It's not that you did anything wrong, okay? You didn't necessarily do anything wrong. And listen, those of you who are not familiar with me, if you're new around here, if you did something wrong, I would tell you, okay? We may get to that in today's episode. But being productive and getting to the point that you're working hard but still not where you want to be does not mean that you necessarily have made a mistake. But productivity is how you got to this point, okay? What you need is something other than productivity, okay? Working hard but still not where you want to be, you need a different formula. So keep listening. Over the last 15 years, I've spoken to numerous athletes and entrepreneurs, because my background is as an athlete and now entrepreneur, who have told me that they are very productive in terms of effort and energy output. Have I described any of you in that last sentence? That you are giving a lot of effort and you're putting a lot of energy out there in your work, yet, despite this, you still don't have the outcomes that you want. Have I described anybody in that last sentence? For example, an athlete who says to me, Dre, I'm working on my game every day, but I feel like I am still not getting better. Have I described anybody? Or an entrepreneur who says, well, Dre, I'm doing all this stuff and I'm putting all this stuff out on social media and putting myself out there, but it's still not driving customers, is not really getting me more clients, is really not getting me the quality of lead that I want. Any of you feel like I just described you with that? Or am I taking the words out of your mouth? This is the way you would describe yourself. If so, I want you to understand that what I just gave you, this is what we call the productivity trap. The productivity trap is that trap of doing a whole lot of productive, quote unquote, stuff, yet still not getting the outcome that you want. And again, productivity is not necessarily a bad thing. It's better than the alternative, which is doing nothing, but there's a higher level. Let's get to that. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is productivity versus effectiveness versus efficiency. Let's talk about what effectiveness means. Definition of effective is the degree to which something is successful in producing a desired result, also known as success. This is what you productivity addicts need. Any of you who's a productivity addict, you're a productivity fiend. You've been doing a whole lot of producing and you're very productive, yet you're still not getting the outcome that you want. Instead of aiming for more productivity, you should continue to be productive, but instead of aiming for being productive, you need to aim higher and aim for effectiveness, because effectiveness includes productivity in it. Everybody get what I'm saying here? See, when you're effective, you're going to be productive anyway. So you don't have to worry about being productive if you're being effective, because the only way you can be effective is, by definition, produce the desired result. So producing the desired result is the kind of productivity you want. You want to produce not just anything, you want to produce the desired result, also known as success. This is what effectiveness does. It turns your efforts into outcomes. That is what effectiveness is about. See, productivity turns your effort into you did something. You put out effort, you put out energy, and you know you did, and you can see the result, and you can see the sweat, and you can feel the hard work in your bones, and you're dead tired at the end of the day. That's productivity. Effectiveness takes that productivity and makes sure that it's directed towards actually producing a desired outcome. That's a higher level of productivity. Everybody understand? That's what effectiveness is about. Effectiveness requires one thing. It requires a set of clearly defined, let's all say it together, goals. To be effective, you need goals. One of the biggest challenges that the productivity addicts have is that you did not clearly define your goals before you set out to be productive, rather. And you were very good at being productive. The problem is you had no goals set. Therefore, despite all your productivity, you still don't know where the hell it took you, because you didn't know where you were going. You were driving around. It was like driving around town with a full tank of gas with no map. So you drove a lot. All right, you can see your gas tank is on empty. You clearly used up all the miles, but where'd you go? Well, you don't know. Why? Because there was no destination. It was not set from the beginning. Your goals were not clearly defined. That's the problem. Understand, folks, you cannot be effective without goals. It is impossible to be effective without a clearly defined goal. Again, by the definition of the word. As you would not have a measure of success versus failure if you did not have a goal. You don't know what success is or what failure is, therefore you can't be effective. I can say I'm going to clean the garage this Saturday and do so. If I do clean the garage, I was productive because I said I'm going to clean the garage, I cleaned the garage. Now, if, on the other hand, I say I'm going to clean the garage starting at 12 p.m., I'm going to be finished cleaning the garage by 2 p.m., now I'm not just being productive, I'm also being effective. So you want to read between the lines of that? Clear goals have a measurable outcome, and they also have a timeline. They have a deadline. To be effective, you need to know what you're going to do, clearly what makes it a success, and by when does it need to be done. That's what makes you effective, not just productive. Many of you are very productive, yet ineffective simply because your goals are unclear. They're too opaque. We can't see through them. The fastest way to increase your effectiveness, folks, is to get clear goals that are full of substance, i.e., reaching that goal will make a real difference in your business or in your life or in your career or in your family or whatever the situation is. That's the fastest way to increase your effectiveness. Make sure your goals have substance. In other words, doing this is going to make an actual difference. Here's a challenge that many of you have, especially you entrepreneurs who get to set your own schedule and decide what goes on your to-do list, is that you put a whole bunch of things on your to-do list that allow you to feel productive yet are not truly effective, simply because you could do them, you cross them off the list, and you could say that you got them done, but does it actually change your situation at all? Does it actually change your situation to empty the trash? All right, yeah, you did it. It was on your to-do list. You did it. You knocked it off the list, but does that actually do anything? I'm not saying you shouldn't empty the trash, but is it actually moving you forward? Now, making that new advertisement and getting the ad campaign running so that you can actually get some quality leads for your high ticket coaching program. Now, is that going to actually move your business forward? Yes, that will move your business forward. Now, which box would you rather check off? Take out the trash or get that ad campaign running? Now, which one is harder to do? Which one is more tedious? Which one require more effort and energy? Probably to get the ad campaign running. This is the reason why many people don't do the harder one, simply because it's harder to do and it takes more time, and we don't prioritize it, and we focus on, and this is something some of you may have heard the saying before, majoring in minor things. See, people who get addicted to productivity often are majoring in minor things. You're spending a whole lot of your resources doing a whole bunch of stuff that don't really matter and is not really doing anything for you. So what you need to do is really get clear on your priorities. Inside of Work on Your Game University, we have 4 main areas that we focus on if you get coached by me. Mindset, number 1. Number 2, strategy. Number 3, systems. And number 3, accountability. And what is that accountability piece about? It's not just me saying to you, hey, did you wake up at 5:30 this morning like you said you were going to? That's part of it, but it's also, hey, you worked all day yesterday. What did you work on? Did you work on some nonsense like updating your website, or did you work on something of substance, like the things that are actually going to drive money to your business? That's part of the accountability as well. All right, what in your strategy is actually going to help you reach this financial goal that you have? You want to make $10,000 a month? Okay. Or what part of your game plan and what part of your system is actually directed towards that versus the stuff that makes you feel like you're doing something, yet you're not really moving yourself forward. You are doing something, but you're not really moving yourself forward. See, that's part of the accountability as well. And that's what we do in Work on Your Game University. Your goals have to have some real substance. All right, many people suck at setting goals that actually have substance. And the challenge is sometimes you are too ignorant. Ignorant simply meaning you are unaware. You just don't know. Ignorance just means the absence of knowledge. You're either too ignorant or too arrogant to get help, or maybe too prideful to get help, all while the clock continues to tick. Everyone understanding that your time here is not unlimited. Your time is very, very limited. Number 3, let's move on. Today's topic, once again, is productivity versus effectiveness versus efficiency. All right, so we got the first 2, productivity and effectiveness down. Everybody got those? Any questions? Good. Number 3, efficiency. What is the definition of efficiency? It means of a system or a machine achieving maximum productivity with minimum wasted effort or expense. Let me say that definition again. I want to make sure this really sinks in with many of you who need to hear this. Efficiency means achieving maximum productivity with minimum wasted effort or expense. Here is where every listener to this show needs to end up. You want to be productive and effective at the same time, which is also known as efficient. Let me say the definition again. Maximum productivity with minimum wasted effort or expense. In other words, there is a sense of urgency. There is a deadline. There are clear outcomes. There is a clear focus on what gets done. There are priorities as to what gets done and when and why and where and by whom. All of these are involved in efficiency. For you to be efficient, you need all of the things that I just said, all of them. Anyone's missing, you're not being efficient. You may be being effective, maybe you're being productive, but you're not being efficient. The most well-run businesses out there are efficient in what they do. They get a whole lot done and they waste very little resources in the process. Many of you get a lot done while wasting a whole bunch of time. You get a lot done that does nothing for you. So a whole bunch of time went by, but you didn't move yourself forward. That is a waste, even though you're productive. See, this is how you be very productive yet not be effective. You get it? Because the efficiency is not there. Efficiency combines output with the conservation of resources and the highest use of resources. In other words, when you are efficient, you are squeezing all the juice out of your orange and getting the maximum amount of orange juice into that glass, if you follow the metaphor there. Efficient activity means you not only get things done and reach your goals, but you do so without using all your resources to do so. Everybody got that? You get all the things done, you reach your goals, but you don't have to use all your resources to do so. Or you only use the resources that are necessary in order to reach all your goals. Is even a cleaner way to say that. I heard someone say once that, you ever hear people say, hey, I'm not looking for, or I don't want to be involved in any kind of get rich quick scheme. You ever heard that saying? I don't want to get into a get rich quick scheme, or this sounds like some get rich quick scam or something like that. You ever heard that phrase, get rich quick? I heard somebody once say that you should look for, anytime someone offers you an opportunity to make money, you should hope that it's a get rich quick scheme. You know why? Because you don't have enough time to get rich slow. I said, that's a good point. That's a damn good point. And I agree with that. Anything you do, it should be a get rich quick scheme, entrepreneurs. Why? Because you ain't got enough time to get rich slow. Getting rich slow means you're going to be dead before you get rich. Right? That ain't a good idea. All right, they say the easiest way to make $1 million on the internet, anybody know what it is? There's one really easy way to make $1 million on the internet. Let me tell you what it is. Y'all should write this down. Grab a pen and paper. Got it? Okay. Easiest way to make $1 million on the internet is to start with a $2 million marketing budget. All right. And you'll end up with $1 million on the internet. Now, that's a version of being productive. That was a tongue-in-cheek point there. So anybody who if that went over your head, listen to it again. You'll figure it out on the way home. All right. That's being productive. Being effective is to make that $1 million online while spending only $100,000 on ads. So that means you got $900 profit. That's pretty good. I think you'd be very happy with that level of effectiveness, would you not? Now, efficient is to make $1 million online while spending $100 in ad budget and doing it all in 1 month's time, or doing it all within 1 week's worth of a launch of a product. See, the difference between effective and efficient is the timeline. The thing that separates effectiveness from productivity is the conservation of resources, most specifically time, which is the most valuable resource you have. And the thing that separates efficiency from effectiveness is a timeline, meaning we're going to get this much done in this much time, and it's a non-negotiable. That's what makes you efficient. Another example. I'm going to go running tomorrow morning. I actually am, from the day that I'm recording this. I'm going to run 6 miles tomorrow morning. It's going to be about 90 degrees outside at 4 in the morning in Miami. And it literally was like 85 degrees this morning when I woke up. That's going to be productive when I go run that 6 miles. Now, when I hit my pacing goals, because I have certain targets that I need to hit as far as how fast I run those 6 miles, when I hit my goals, that means I'm being effective. See, productive is if I just go run. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Effective is I run, and it does matter because I need to hit certain targets when I'm running. Now, when I do both, and then I do my foam rolling, then I ice my legs, then I hit the jacuzzi if it's working. Right, the jacuzzi in my building's been broke for like 3 weeks. And then I get showered, shaved, and dressed and ready to work by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. When I do all of those things together, that's when I'm being efficient. Everybody caught this? This is a great episode, if I may say so myself. I got a lot of episodes here on the show. This is one of the ones that I'll probably be referring to over and over and over again, like I do the 5 forms of investment. Productivity versus effectiveness versus efficiency. Let's recap these points. People often conflate these ideas. I have just broken down and explained to you how they are not the same and how you need to understand and use each. Number 1, productivity is the state of quality of producing something. There's nothing wrong with producing. It means to bring something into existence. And again, bringing things into existence and doing something is better than doing nothing. A whole lot of people spend a lot of their life doing a whole lot of nothing. So it's better to be productive than not. However, when you are being productive, sometimes you may end up addicted to productivity. You're just getting things done, but it's not actually moving you forward. And you're wondering why. Here's why. It's because you're being productive. You're in that trap, but you're not being, point number 2, effective. Definition of effectiveness is the degree to which something is successful in producing a desired result, also known as success. This is what you productivity addicts need. Effectiveness requires clearly defined goals. You need a clearly defined goal as to what you're going to be doing. When your goals are clearly defined, then it's much easier to be effective. So you're getting things done and you know exactly where you're going. You're not just getting stuff done and you have no idea if it's actually moving you forward. If you're doing a whole lot of work but don't know where it's taking you, you feel like you are in what we call tactical hell, that's when you're stuck in the productivity trap. Number 3, efficiency, especially of a system or a machine, achieving maximum productivity with minimum wasted effort or expense. The difference between efficiency and effectiveness is that you are conserving resources. In other words, it doesn't have to take you an hour. It can take you 15 minutes. That's a paraphrasing of Parkinson's law. It states tasks will expand or contract given the amount of resources given to get them done, allocated to get them done. If I give you an hour to get a job done, you will take an hour to get it done. If I give you 30 minutes, you'll get the same thing done in 30 minutes. Understand, folks, this sense of urgency you can place this sense of urgency on yourself anytime that you feel like it, but it must be a conscious choice. You can add this urgency into your life at any time. I talked about this in episode 2463, how to structure urgency into your life. Also, episode 1943, how constraint equals freedom and urgency. I just told you that. All right. And episode 1172, your lack of urgency is your biggest problem. I just explained to you exactly how all these things work. And again, in Work on Your Game University, I will coach you and show you how to actually put these things into good use. And trust me, in Work on Your Game University, we got a whole lot more material coming. I've been mapping out how we're going to actually expand a lot of the operations of what's going on in that university over the next months or so. It's probably already in progress as you are listening to this because I record these episodes long before they actually come out. So with all that said, text me and tell me the best point you got from today's class. Tell me you want to get my daily motivation text I send out every morning. My number is 305-384-6894. And every day when that message goes out, you'll be getting it. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. All right, if you like what you hear on this show that I'm giving out for free, all right, imagine how much game you're going to get when you go to the paid level. All right, that is Work on Your Game University. Imagine how much game you can get. Think about how much game you're getting from me when I'm just making these episodes. I don't even personally know you. Imagine how much more efficient, much more effective, and much more productive you will be in your business and in your life when I know exactly what your situation is, exactly who you are, and exactly what you're working on. And I can give you specific, personalized game, advice, and insight on how to take yourself further. That's what happens when you're being coached by me inside of Work on Your Game University. If you're not sure, you don't believe me, you want to get some third-party feedback, go to alldreallday.com. That's where you can see a whole page worth of feedback from people other than me, of people who have worked with me. Again, that's alldreallday.com. When you get done there, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com and then come back tomorrow to hear tomorrow's episodes. We got more coming. Work on your game. Dre all